What's up, guys? Rob from LegitBrowniesGaming here on a brisk Friday afternoon, bringing you the newest episode of the week-long wind down. Um, as per the random number generator, this week the topic is the most of the time confusing topic of love. So let's delve into it. The background gameplay you're going to see is some old Black Ops and Modern Warfare 3 gameplay, if I remember correctly. I think the Black Ops gameplay is short, but let's move into the topic. So, the question everyone asks when it comes to love is, well, what is it? You know? And to me, there's different types, right? There's the love you feel for objects. Oh, I love this sweater, or I love that game, or oh, I love this pizza, but then you eat the pizza, so then you just killed your love, and you're really upset, and then you start crying and contemplating the meaning of life and death until you realize you can just go get another piece of pizza, and then you fall in love all over again. But disregarding any love affairs with pizza, you have the love of objects. Um, then you have your love of family. You know, I would assume most people, I won't say all because some people do have serious grievances with their family members, and that's unfortunate, but most people would say that they love their family. I mean, siblings can get kind of hairy sometimes, but I would say most people would say that they love their family. Then you have the love for your friends. I mean, females tend to express this more than males. They're like, oh man, you my best friend. I love you so much, girl, whatever. And, that's just a very stereotypical female, I guess, right there. Don't worry, I'm not sexist at all. But, you know, you see females saying that they love each other a lot more than you'll see two guys. It'll be like, oh yeah, man, I love you, bro. Like, sometimes it happens, but most of the time, not. It doesn't. Most of the time, it's the other way around. Most of the time, it's like, oh, dude, you suck. It's a lot of the time what happens. You know. And then there's the one that I think everyone wants to know about. The one that's probably the most confusing and the most sought after, which is the love you feel for another person that's not a family member or not a friend. The love that you feel for someone that you find it on a deeper connection and you really want to establish this relationship with them. Um, on a much deeper level than you would with a family member or a friend. Um, a lot of the times, people will ask, "Well, how do you know?" And how do you know you're in love? It's different for everyone. It really is. What I might consider myself in love is different than what someone else would consider themselves, or it's gonna be different. Age is a factor in it, so um, you know, when you know. It sounds cliche, and it probably is, and you're probably like, well, this doesn't help me, damn it. You need to tell me. Tell me when I love someone. And I'm like, I can't do that. It just doesn't work. I'm not somebody that can read minds, unfortunately. Um, but when you will know. Forget where I saw this, but I saw a picture and it said the first person you think of before you the first person you think of when you wake up, and the last person you think of before you go to sleep is either the source of your happiness or the source of your pain. Um, so let's be optimists and assume it's the source of your happiness. Um, if you're thinking about a very general way to know is like if you're thinking about them all the time, when you think about them, you just think of nothing but good memories. You just want to be with them. You want to hold them. It's that's very general. Um, but when you'll definitely know. Um, So, what makes it love? What makes that next step other than like a friendship or a family member? Well, a family member doesn't really take part in this part, but you know what I'm saying. So, what makes it a step up, right? Like I said before, it's different for everyone, but I don't know if this is gonna blow some people's minds. I notice this a lot now that appearance plays a huge huge role in it, and that's not correct in my opinion. Like I said in the beginning of this series, it's gonna be very opinionated, so a lot of the times you might disagree with me, but physical appearance is probably the last thing on my list of importance. Yes, you have to be attracted to the person. Yes, they have to look good to you. Otherwise, that might lead to an imbalance of power, which an imbalance of power in a relationship is a topic for a different video. But obviously, you have to be attracted to them, but it's not all that important in my opinion. You know, what is important to me is that step above physical attraction, emotional connection. When you really feel like you know the other person and they know you, and all they want to do is be with you, and all you want to do is be with them. You guys have a lot in common. No, no, not necessarily. Sometimes, as they say, opposites do attract, but you have a lot in common. You mesh well together. I mean, if you were friends before you wanted to start a relationship, which, believe it or not, you can do. You're just because you're friends with someone doesn't mean you're stuck in the perpetual friend zone. It doesn't happen. Um, the friend zone's again another a topic for another video, but you can be friends with a girl or a guy, depending on your gender, before you start a relationship. Believe it or not, crazy, right? But if you guys were friends before and you hung out a lot, just stuff like that. Uh, well, bleh, bleh, bleh. I just blanked. I am sorry, that was terrible. I just blanked. But personality also plays a big role. I mean, you don't want to be dating someone that, excuse my language, you don't want to be dating someone that's an asshole. You don't want to look at your girlfriend or boyfriend and be like, wow, he's such a dick. I really love that guy. Like, no, you want to look at them and just be like, they're this amazing person. They're really nice. They're really helpful, you know. And I want to avoid using the word perfect because perfection can kind of be an iffy topic. To me, three things that go along with the thought of perfection, in your boyfriend or girlfriend, or I don't really think anyone would, be questioning love if they're married. Although, if it goes downhill, but again, getting off topic here. Um, you don't want to. To me, it's like one mode you can go in is if you're in love with someone, you can think that they're just utterly perfect. They have no faults. They can't do anything wrong, and they're just amazingly, you know, infallible. Which it might work at first, but then it kind of gets screwed up if they do something wrong. If they do screw up, and everyone's gonna screw up. I'm telling you, there's no such thing as perfection. So everyone's gonna mess up. So if you think that someone's perfect, and then they screw up, it might shatter your perception of reality. But um, two, the person that you love, you can say, well, yeah, they're human. They screw up. They mess up just like the rest of us. But despite their screw ups, I'm willing to just look past that, right? You're willing to work past their screw ups. You know, they do something stupid, and you're just like, all right, well, we can fix it by doing this. Or, we can remedy it by not doing this. Or a third one is accepting their faults and just, accepting it as just they're a person, You just take it like, yeah, they screw up. I screw up. We all screw up. When that person screws up, the best thing to do is just say, "Hey, look, it's not that big a deal, right? We all do it." You don't want to be that guy that's like, "Whoa, she went and did this," or that girl that's like, "Oh, you know, he went and did something stupid, so now I hate his guts." It's like, no, we all screw up, Excuse my language again, but shit happens, just whatever. Um, I think a big part of what makes it love is accepting, their faults, but thinking that they're just a wonderful person anyway. I mean, it's the exact opposite of hate. When you hate someone, you tear their faults apart. You recognize their faults, and you're like, oh my god, he's such an idiot. He always fails the tests, or oh my god, she's such a jerk to everyone. When you like the person, you're like, yeah, maybe they'll fail a test every once in a while, but they're still amazing, That's just something that they're not good at. Um, the next part I want to talk about is a topic that's kind of iffy with some people. A lot of people might disagree with me, but it deals with like can teenagers or just generally like non-adults, like I would say about 20, about I'll say about like I don't know 18 and under maybe is where this starts to come into play. Maybe even go lower than that, like 16 and under. But is can they do they really understand it? Can they really love someone? And my answer is this. My answer is I don't care what age you are. Um, you have the ability to love, right? From a young age, we were taught that. Well, it's not really that we're taught, but from a young age, you think, you love your family even from when you're like 3, you know. So are you gonna tell me that this kid who, let's say the kid is 16 now, you're gonna tell me that this kid who's been loving his family from the age of 1, 2, 3, he's been experiencing this feeling for 16 years, but yet he can't feel it with someone that's not a family member? Like, I, t- it's bad to me. It's like I think I mean, sometimes it's hard because when you see kids that are in 6th grade and they're like, oh, I love you, and you're like, why? And they're like, well, I don't know. It's like, well, that's kind of a problem. But I'm not gonna judge. Um, I might make an offhand comment now and then, just be like, oh yeah, 12-year-olds in love, ho ho ho. But look, in all reality, I don't know. I can't read their minds. I am not them. So, you know, don't be that guy that's like, oh no, if you see a couple and you're just like, no, you don't, and they're like, oh man, I love you, and you're just like, no, you don't. You don't love each other. It's like, well, how do you know? Are you me? Are you dating this girl? You don't know what I'm thinking. You don't understand. Well, it's not that you don't understand, but it's like you're not me. You're not experiencing the feelings I am. So if I'm feeling this upper level connection, this above and beyond physical connection, above and beyond physical attraction, this emotional connection, this heart to heart, human to human connection, and you're not feeling that because I am, like, am I not allowed to? It's just, to me, it's bad. It's just, I think the reason a lot of people say teenagers can't love is because a lot of teenagers do tend to just date people based on looks. It's it's a problem, and those relationships usually don't work out. But I think they get a bad rap because every other guy's like, "Oh, yo, man, she's totally hot. I'm gonna go bang that chick." It's like, no, no, stop right there. First of all, you don't know her name, so it's. But a lot of times it is. It's like, oh yeah, and she's so hot, or he's so cute. I'm gonna go talk to him. I'm gonna talk to her, and maybe from that a relationship can blossom. But if you're just dating them because you think they're hot but you hate their guts, I think that's where it starts to become a discrepancy between love and just, oh, that guy's hot, so I'm gonna date him, so all my friends will be jealous. But I think that's part of why teenagers get a bad rap on it, because I'm not gonna say a lot, but I'll say a decent amount of them, enough of them are idiots when it comes to this sort of thing. They just jump into relationships way too quickly, that a lot of the older generation starts to say, well, I'm calling BS. I'm calling BS. You don't even know them, you know? So that's where it starts to get a little hairy. But my general opinion of love is it's key. Um, to go your whole life without really knowing what it is. If you haven't experienced it, it's the saying. It was. It is better to have loved and lost than not to have loved at all, I think, is definitely true. I mean, when it comes to breakups, it sucks. It really does. You're just like, well, screw me. You know, especially if you're the one that getting dumped. This really only applies to if you're getting dumped. If you're dumping someone, you know, you're obviously dumping for them for a reason. So you've lost that emotional connection already. But for the most part, if you're getting dumped, you're just like, well, what did I do wrong? What did I screw up? What happened? What caused that connection to go? And yeah, at first it really sucks. A lot of the times, you'll constantly be reminded of what was, especially if they're like, oh yeah, we can be friends, and you're like, yo, gee, thanks. You know, gee, I get to see you every day and be reminded that we once had what was more. But I'm not saying that being friends after dating someone can't work. I've seen it work, but for at least a couple days afterwards, I mean, you're just gonna be like, I don't even want to think about it. You don't want to be reminded of it. Um, so yeah, at first after a breakup, it sucks. It really does. It's not fun, but I think coming out of something that deep and that committed, you really got to take it on a positive spin and say, well, I'm a better person because of this. I now have experience in something that I wouldn't have had experience in prior. So it's it's hard, but you got to take the higher route. You got to take something out of it, even if it's the crappiest relationship ever. It lasted like 2 days. And then what do you take out of it? Well, maybe not jump in so quickly next time, and maybe not screw this up as as readily as readily as I did, even though it might not have been your fault. But that's just my opinion on it. That's my thoughts, and I'll see you guys next time.